people value life, meaning their own life, not even the lives of others, like their own life. And I would like to tell you, no, people mostly don't value life. And I'll explain later, and you'll be able to observe all of the examples of this on a consistent basis. And when you do value life, specifically your own life, you'll be more successful. But people will also say you're self interested, selfish, self absorbed. It's because they're mind boggled as to how you seem to care about yourself so much while they have very little regard for their own life. They destroy their body with cigarettes. They smoke cigars thinking they look like a boss when really they look like a moron. They walk around holding a beer because they think it's masculine and they look cool, not realizing they've been victim of marketing. They do silly things that provide no real return on the investment of time, capital, and their life being at risk. Things like bungee jumping, skydiving, things that are reasonably dangerous, reasonably safe. But if it went wrong and you lose your life, it shows that your life was probably not worth very much, because what's on the other side of that? Say you successfully go bungee jumping. What reward do you get? Nothing. You got a temporary thrill. What accolades do you get? Do you get a trophy, something that people are going to respect you for doing this activity? No, you don't. You get a short story that's not very interesting. I went bungee jumping off of the blah, blah, blah bridge, which means you jumped off, fell down, an elastic cord pulled you back up, and that was the end of it. It's not even a good story. I went skydiving. Why? Why did you do that? Because you don't value your life. That's why. It's not that it's dangerous or it's scary. I would do it. I wouldn't find it to be particularly scary and be a bit exhilarating. But I asked myself, if this goes wrong, then you go crashing into the earth and then you perish. If it goes right, well, what do you get? You get a short thrill and then an even shorter story, and you get no real accolade. You get no award. You don't get anything for it. It's just an example of you not really caring about your life, but also being escapist. You're trying to escape the monotony and the boring existence that you have that is devoid of good people, excitement, fun, big goals, richness. And that's why you would part with your life so easily. People don't care about themselves. They use these thrills to escape a life that is not the one that they want. I tell you all the time that when I speak to you on YouTube, I'm taking a pause from a beautiful life. And I am. That's why I'm not here 3 times a day. I actually have better things to do. I literally have better things to do. What I want you to have is the same thing in reality. Now, remember, I just described to you the life and the thinking of someone who has purpose and meaning and joy in their life. Your life has a purpose on a daily basis. There's meaning to the things you do, and you're experiencing consistent joy, which means you don't want to risk that. You want to protect it. You don't want to go to jail. You don't want to get killed. You don't want to get injured. You want to continue on as things are with your life, moving upward. Then what's the opposite? The majority, how most people live, in despair, in lack, in worry. Lack of what, Marquett? Lack of money, lack of attention, lack of affection, lack of accolades, lack of respect. Lack. That's how they're living. Oh, Marquett, those people sound dangerous. They absolutely are. They absolutely are. And when you come into contact with those people, they can tell that you're not like them. They want some of what you got. Maybe they'll take it from you. Maybe they'll take your life. Jealousy, anger. Yes, you don't want to be around these persons. Marquett, does it just end on what you described? Bungee jumping, smoking, cigarettes, alcoholism, skydiving? Are those the cheap thrills that human beings seek that express their own self-hatred and self-disdain? Nope. There are many other things that are more insidious. A life without purpose, a person without purpose is dangerous. Idle hands do the devil's work. In years past, you have apprenticeship, and really whatever your father was, that's what you were going to be. If your father was a blacksmith, you'd study under him and become a blacksmith, just like Benjamin Franklin, if you've read his biography. Your father's a printer, or you want to become a printer, you go become an apprentice under someone else. Historically, whatever your father did, that's what you did. As society started to change, that's why people start to not know what to do. Well, what do I do? Go to college. Go to the army. The follow your father concept was no longer a concept. Anyways, what you failed to get during your schooling years, What Boss University teaches you is how to look inside of yourself and figure out, well, who am I? Where do I need to go? What is meant for me? What is my purpose? What unique abilities do I have? That's what Boss University does. It's something that should occur before university is Boss University. I didn't have anyone to facilitate that thought journey to get me moving somewhere. Huh? Anyways, I say all that to say that there are those among us who they're not misguided necessarily. They're just without guidance. And when you are without guidance, you're without purpose. You have so much spare time. You have so many opportunities to get into trouble. And I want to describe that to you. But I want you to know that that's the majority of people on earth. When you see people smoking vapes now, why did they smoke cigarettes? Because some cases they thought it looked cool. Does it really look cool? You stink, you smell bad. Does that really seem cool? But it's the idleness. Human beings can't stand to be idle. And also they have trouble acknowledging that there's nothing here. Sometimes there's nothing inside of here, and there's nothing in the way of their purpose. Their life is meaningless. Now you might be like, Quet, this is some heavy issue. Well, follow me, work with me, work with me. It's only the wise among us who look and see. People are looking and not seeing a thing. I promise you. And do know you could be displeased at that reality, or you could know that it's a great advantage if you have knowledge and you apply it on a consistent basis. You guys often get challenged by your obsession with money and success, not having the foggiest idea of how much money you need to be happy, or what the true definition of success is for you. You tend to use other people's definitions of success. And what's worse with regards to money, it turns out there's an infinite amount that you could get. And you allow yourself to be overwhelmed by greed, which means that you'll never actually be happy with regards to money. And you should not allow money to be something that drives or takes away happiness, because it's just supposed to be a medium of exchange for you to get what you want. And ideally, if you've calibrated your mind to a healthy level, in a healthy way, you don't want too much. The problem is that we tend to want too much. I often talk about health, wealth, and relationships. Health, wealth, and relationships. You need all three. Often you're going to look out on what you see on Instagram and what people are advertising about themselves, which is always the good things, never their struggles. And you will not feel as good because you feel like somehow you're behind in life. Somehow you didn't quite meet the mark. Somehow you're not good enough because you're focusing on money and success as a metric. And here's the funny thing. Some of you actually do have money, but you still don't feel like you got enough. Some of you are plenty successful. If you're a woman, you have a good husband and children you can be proud of, you're plenty successful, but you don't feel successful. You don't have the bag that you wanted to buy, the one that you saw today on Instagram. You didn't double tap it because you were hating and jealous. When you're an experienced, wise, mentally well man with the right knowledge, is who are the good people who are going to fill up this house and make it a home, make it a place worth being, add to my happiness, add to my experience in life. The challenge is that most of you are wasting your time here on earth. People say time flies. This may not be true, but what is true and certain is that you don't know how much time you have. And so you'd be wise to use the time effectively and to maximize happiness, enduring happiness, deep levels of joy. Most people fail at that. But what I wanted to remind you guys of is when you get beyond the concept of money and success, because I could get a bigger house or an even bigger house. But when you think in terms of happiness, you start to think, okay, well, who are the good people that are going to fill this space I have, whether it's a 2-bedroom house or a 5-bedroom house? Who are those good people?